Hey everyone, Dana here. Austria! Hello! Hello, Austria. Maybe nobody from Austria is watching, but I'm still saying hi to Austria. I'm an American living in Germany, so here on my YouTube channel, I usually talk about, well, life in Germany. But I wanted to make a video about some things in Austria, especially some of the awesome cultural things in Austria. So today, that's what we're talking about. Awesome Austrians. So if you know an awesome Austrian in your life, then you can send this video to them and let them know they're awesome Austrian. Not Australia. We're not talking about Australia today. We're talking about Austria. But first, the holidays are coming up, and if you'd like to get a gift for a German speaker in your life, Austrian, German, also someone like me who has learned German as a second language, then I super duper recommend giving them the gift of laughter this year with my book, You Go Me on the Cookie. You Go Me on the Cookie is in German and it is a funny, lighthearted book. You Go Me on the Cookie comes from Du gehst mir auf den Keks in German. And since this video is about awesome Austrians, I thought, let me read you this little part here in this book. I think that you'll get a kick out of this. Where is it? Yes, from the chapter Alpensprache. In Österreich gibt es, wie in Deutschland, verschiedene Akzente und Dialekte. Aber insgesamt würde ich trotzdem sagen, dass das in Österreich gesprochene Deutsch in meinen Ohren recht rund klingt. Deutsches Deutsch ist wie eine klare Winternacht mit seinen vielen harten Konsonanten. Das T in Rot hört sich so an, als beiße man in einen knackigen Apfel. Das CK in Schneeflocken, als trete man auf einen dünnen, trockenen Ast, der entzwei bricht. Das in Österreich gesprochene Deutsch hingegen ist wie ein milder Sommerabend. Die Ks klingen eher wie G. Die T sind geschmeidig wie Eiscreme, die schon ein paar Minuten nicht im Gefrierschrank stand. Die Vokale klingen rund und voll. You Go Me on the Cookie is a great gift to give your German-speaking friends and family, and because it's lighthearted and fun, it's also a really great gift to give someone that maybe you don't know that well, an acquaintance who you're like, I really want to get this person a gift, but I don't know what to give them. Do they speak German? If so, then the answer is simple. You can get them a copy of You Go Me on the Cookie. Links and more information about where you can get a copy in the description box below. I've been to Austria a few times, and I've made some videos linked up there and down the description. And I did already have a couple awesome Austrian things in mind for this video, but I asked you for some more over on Instagram, and you had so many. Thank you so much for that feedback. Language. Let's start with the language, and I'm gonna do it like this. English, the German word that I know for this thing, and then the German word for it in Austria. So tomato, Tomate, Paradeiser. Green beans, grüne Bohnen, Fisole. Whipped cream, Schlagsahne, Schlagobers. Potato, Kartoffel, Erdapfel. Apricots, Aprikosen, Marillen. Oh, I love it. Marillen. Oh, it's so beautiful. Marillen, Marillen, Marillen. It sounds to me like a beautiful name. Oh, it could be a name. Hi, I am Marillen. My name is Marillen. Oh, it's beautiful. And then watch out, Germans who go to Austria or Austrians who travel to Germany, because sich ausrasten might not mean what you think it means. So in Germany, ausrasten means like to go off on someone, just lose control, freak out. But in Austria, it actually means pretty much the opposite. In Austria, sich ausrasten means to rest. Ich habe mich ausgerastet und danach habe ich ausgerastet. Oida. Oida means alter, older person. But as far as I understand it, it seems like it can pretty much be used to say like just about anything in Austria. Austrians watching this, please let me know down in the comments, are there any situations where you would say that you would not use oida? Yeah, how does oida work? Can it really be used for anything? And on average, how many times a day do you think you say oida? Is it really as common as people say it is? Food. Oh my God, you had my mouth watering with all the delicious kinds of food in Austria that you sent me. So we talked about before Marillen in Austria, that's apricot. And from your responses, it seems like basically anything with Marillen in it is a beloved favorite in Austria. Marillen marmelade, apricot jam, Marillen knödel, a kind of dough pastry with a whole apricot in the center. I like apricots, but I have a feeling that I am not as big of a fan of apricots as it seems like people in Austria are. Like, it just seems like people in Austria love apricots. And then also, speaking of knödel, I learned about Mehlspeisen. So Mehl means flour and Speisen is dishes. And so basically Mehlspeisen is used to describe a whole range of delicious pastries beloved in Austria. So for example, like the Marillen knödel, but also other kinds of knödel too, and Kaiserschmarrn. That came up several times in your responses as well. I am also a fan of Kaiserschmarrn, but I have to say, I do know it from here in Bavaria. I've had some pretty good Kaiserschmarrn here as well, but I'd be happy to try out Kaiserschmarrn in Austria too, and just travel around eating Kaiserschmarrn. I really like Kaiserschmarrn. The way I describe it to Americans is like fluffy little pieces of caramelized pancake with applesauce. Is it also served with applesauce in Austria? Let me know in the comments. Drinks. Lots of you mentioned the Almdudler, and I have since learned that this is a carbonated soft drink in Austria, but that's not the only carbonated drink that's popular in Austria. When I first moved to Germany, that was actually the very first time that I had ever heard of and tried a sparkling water wine. Not sparkling wine, that I had had in the US, wine mixed with sparkling water, especially white wine, but I have seen Rotweinschorle on the menu at a couple places. I've never tried it, but I have seen it. However, from reading up on Spritzwein, as it is called in Austria, I have come to learn that Austria seems to take this drink very seriously. I don't know, maybe it's just the information that I found online, but I found all kinds of very specific details of like what kind of wine should be used for the Spritzwein, not just any old white wine, what kind of bubbly water is the best, the right temperature, and I have to say, it sounds very delicious, especially in summer, very refreshing. But I also learned that all year round, there is another kind of drink that is popular in Austria, or actually I didn't learn that it's popular, I learned that it exists. I learned that Austria has its own kind of like cappuccino. I still don't know how to say it. Wiener Melange? I'm not sure if you say the E at the end. I hope you know what I'm talking about. I will write it here. This exists in Austria. And I say kind of cappuccino because according to what I found online, this drink can be served differently and it can be different depending on where you go and who you ask. Some people say that this drink is really pretty close to a cappuccino, while I also read that some people put cocoa powder in the drink. How do you like this drink prepared? Let me know in the comments. Kaffeehauskultur. Kaffeehauskultur, coffee house culture, and coffee houses in general. That came up a few times, several times in your answers. I would say that this combines a few of the things that we've already talked about. The Wiener Melange, for example, also the Knödel, the Mehlspeisen in general. I don't know if Kaiserschmarrn would be served there. I don't know, but Mehlspeisen in general, they're often on the menu at the coffee houses in Austria with Schlagobers, whipped cream. When I first started learning German, one of the very first phrases in my first German textbook that I was introduced to was mit oder ohne Sahne, with or without cream, in this case, whipped cream. The fact that that was one of the first phrases that I learned within my first few weeks of learning German led me to believe that when going to cafes in Germany, I would be asked this question a lot. And I have to say I was pretty excited about it because I love whipped cream. Whipped cream is delicious, so I wanted to be asked, mit oder ohne Sahne. However, I never was, and it was very disappointing. Now I think I know why. I needed to go to a coffee house, a cafe in Austria. Surely with the Mehlspeisen and the fancy coffee drinks, the question mit oder ohne Sahne would come up more often, right? But coffee houses in Austria are apparently about more than just the food and the drinks. I mean, it is the food and the drinks, but it's also the atmosphere. So people sitting and reading a newspaper, chatting together, hanging out, sometimes hanging out for really a while there. Maybe some piano music playing in the background. What is the Austrian coffee house culture to you? How would you describe it to someone who has never been to Austria? Let me know in the comments. Krampus. Living here in Bavaria, I have been to a Krampus Parade. Krampus is the counterpart. I love the German word Gegenstück. It really describes it well. He's the Gegenstück to St. Nicholas. So it's the who's been naughty or nice thing, you know? The nice kids get the gifts from St. Nicholas, while the naughty kids get punished by Krampus. New Year Waltz. Before putting together this video, I had heard that in Austria, there's this New Year's Waltz. Now, how I understood it, I thought that people in Austria waltz into the new year. So I thought going from 11:59 p.m. one year to midnight, 12:01 the next year, they waltz into the new year. But as you explained to me on Instagram, apparently it's that people waltz at midnight. So at the new year. So the clock strikes 12 midnight and then the radio plays a waltz and people, I guess all over the country, dance. And I love that. I love thinking about everyone doing the same exact dance all at once, like thousands of people dancing to the same music at the same time. There's just something really magical to me about that. And it makes me think about the holidays this year. Like, even though the holiday celebrations are going to be different this year, a lot of us will not be physically spending the holidays with the people who we would really like to be spending the holidays with. Yeah, this is something that everyone can do separate, social distancing at their own homes. Everyone can do it separate, but it's kind of like you're doing something together. Like even if you're separated from your friends and your family and the people you love, different cities and separated across huge distances, we can all dance at the same time together. I'm tearing up. There's just something really magical, really special about that. It kind of reminds me of like when I miss my parents and I look up at the moon and I remind myself that my parents are really far away, but we both see the same moon. Okay, because of the time difference, when I look up at the sky and I see the moon, if they looked up at the sky, they wouldn't see the moon, but you know what I mean. There's just something very comforting about that for me. So I just really love this New Year's Waltz, Austria, and that's what inspired me to make this video, that I think that's really awesome, Austria. Too bad I don't know how to waltz. I can just dance like this. Let me know in the comments, can you waltz? And will you be waltzing at New Year's this year? And have you ever celebrated New Year's in Austria? What was it like? So my question for you is, what other awesome Austrian things are there? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and a really huge thank you so much to everyone who sent in suggestions for this video on Instagram, and a really, really, really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so, so, so very much for your support. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen.